If you're a man who struggles with lust and you feel like you can't break this cycle, you've been programmed that way. And I'm going to expose and tell you exactly why and how you can undo that programming. I've gone over 500 plus days on NoFap and even cured my corn induced ED. And now I help men cure their corn induced ED without all of the trial and error and being even embarrassed by women by not being able to perform. Now, point number one, this didn't happen by accident, right? So you got to understand there's a lot of programming going on, right? Someone once upon a time figured out that, you can control a lot of men by putting images in front of them, that spark their dopamine and get them into an addictive cycle, right? And you have all of these different addictions nowadays, right? You have vaping, right? You have alcohol, you have pills, all these different things. And it's really a market at the end of the day, right? That's all it is. And it's a form of dopamine, right? So someone's providing a product to you, you're buying the product or service, and it's getting you, you want to get from point A to point B. So maybe you want to get less stressed, you want to forget about your problems. That's exactly what it's doing, right? So in this case, what they're doing is they're turning attention, right, in your biological need to reproduce into what? Into profit, right? And that's the whole model, right? Take a step back and look at what's going on, right? Someone is trying to profit off of you from your biological needs and desire to reproduce. Now, point number two, you're not weak, right? So you've seen the model, right? You've been conditioned over time. So if you think, right, a lot of times, and look at the type of ads that some of these people run on these platforms, right? A lot of times people say they got hooked from ads, they got hooked from, just clicking on something and there was a pop-up and boom, they saw a picture and it sparks some dopamine and there goes the cycle, right? You start watching the adult content and then it just becomes a cycle, right? And it's just dopamine at the end of the day. Let's remove a lot of the emotion from it. This is a dopamine spike that you're getting from something you're watching, right? It's the same as, let's say someone's playing video games, right? Boom, you get a dopamine spike and you want to keep going back, right? And the thing is, what happens is normal life kind of starts to feel boring, right? It's not as exciting as as basically having the novelty, right? To search up and see whatever you want, right? And then even real women, right? It doesn't feel as exciting because if you're relapsing all the time, you're just not going to want to go approach and talk to other women, right? You're not going to feel anything because you're numbing yourself with this super stimuli, aka the corn, right? You're going, getting the rooster and all this, man. You're jerking the rooster, right? And it's conditioning, right? Because the people have planted these things to get you in a certain way, right? To get you in this addictive cycle, right? And what you have to understand, you have to take your emotions out of it, right? So this is entertainment at the end of the day, right? A lot of people want to say it's evil, this and that, right? But at the end of the day, it's entertainment, right? You choose whether you're going to consume a certain type of entertainment or not, right? And how entertainment is, it's desired to get your mind off things and get you coming back for more, right? That's what a good businessman, what anyone would do, right? And no one cares how it affects you or your relationships. All they want to do is profit off of you, right? But what you consume is really your responsibility, right? And what happens is over time, things start to escalate, right? So, maybe you relapsed one time every couple of days, but then it starts to go faster and faster, right? You're relapsing multiple times and you're losing a lot of time as well, right? Because this obviously takes time to do. Boom, you're wasting time, you're not focused, and obviously when you switch tasks and you can't focus, you can't sit down and do the work that needs to be done, you're not going to go to the gym, maybe you just don't have any energy, right? And you just need more stimulation, and it's a crazy cycle that just keeps going further and further, right? And just everything in life starts to feel a little bit, less colorful. It's not as exciting, right? You just don't have the same sort of satisfaction from it, right? And then you start to have other problems that show up. So maybe you have performance problems. You can't get it up with an actual partner. Maybe you can't finish with a partner, right? You have all of these different problems that start to peak. And of course, you can't stop watching, right? And the real thing that a lot of people don't realize is you can't blame anyone else, right? You have to take accountability, right? As a man, you got to take accountability for your actions and where you are and how you got in this situation, right? So the victim mentality is absolutely going to cook you, right? You can't blame other people for your problems and think that something is going to change, right? Nothing is going to change unless you change it, right? And blaming society, right? Blaming these companies who put these things in front of your face, all of that, man, the victim mentality, you're cooked. I'm gonna be honest. You're cooked if you do that. Right? So you have to understand that it's your responsibility to change, right? Basically the outcome and what you want for your life. Right? And nothing will change if you don't take action, right? You have to look for information, find the information, but also take action on it. Right, so how do we get in control of this? It's very simple. It's one phrase that I like to mention, which is delayed gratification. Right now, you can apply this to so many different areas of your life, but it's literally the key to change who you are as a person, change the beliefs about yourself, and become the type of man that you know you can be, right? Delayed gratification means sacrificing the current moment for a better, basically tomorrow, better tomorrow. And you do that by having long-term thinking, right? So let's say you want a partner, right? Long-term. Maybe you want to get married, right? The whole thing is you need to reverse engineer, what you need to do today to get to your outcome in the long term, right? And let's say you want a girlfriend, right? What you need to do is, you need to talk to women, you need to approach women. And how do you do those things? Well, not by, relapsing all the time, right? You're just not even gonna have the confidence in yourself. Start by going a couple days here or there, let it stack, right? Delay gratification, do things like fasting, right? Try to eat healthy, cut out the sugar. And man, trust me, sooner than later, your life will start to change, right? Of course, eating healthy and just having good habits, right? Working out, doing all these things will start to change how you look, how you feel about yourself. And it's really a cycle there where you become the type of man that you always knew you could be. Now, if you're a dude who struggles with corn-induced ED, man, you struggle with getting it up, having, psychological problems to where you just can't figure it out. It's just a cycle where you just need help, man. Click the link in the description, book a free call. Let's see how I can help you solve that problem very fast, man, very fast. If you like the video, learn something new, man, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm out.